So let's get the elephant out of the room here, shall we? This is probably one of the most mixed, opinionated Pokemon games I have heard and played in a long time. And of course, for good reason. Just look up Pokemon Scarlet and Violet reviews and you will get a plethora of reviews ranging from bad to good. I mean, hey, look, if Verlisify says it's good, it must be the best Pokemon game ever, right?
Stop the cap. Stop the cap right now. Stop the cap.
Also, just a quick side note, I'm not a PNG tuber, so I'm using what I have in my arsenal. Don't judge me. I instead follow these amazing people who made fan art of me, and yeah, they are great people, so please do follow them, and they make awesome art. In all seriousness though, I think it's high time we talk about Pokemon in general and the direction it's heading. In today's video, I'm going to try and answer the following questions for y'all. Why are people upset? Particularly, of course, with Scarlet and Violet. Whose fault is it really? Regarding why Pokemon is in the state it is now. And the question that a lot of people seem to be asking as of recently, can I actually still enjoy the game despite what everybody is saying about it? With all that said, let's get into the video and explore Pokemon a bit more, shall we? You see, back in my day, Pokemon used to be simple. You get hounded by Professor Oak about who you are, what your gender is, and even what his grandson's name was? Listen, Oak, you may study Pokemon as a profession, but I think you need to study your surroundings better, old man, because clearly you need to. Anywho, the whole reason why my boomer self is bringing this up is because, well, relatively, Pokemon has stayed the same formulaic-wise. You're a kid who starts off in a relatively small town, you get your starter from the professor, you go against your rival, battle some gyms, battle against a criminal organization, which I feel like it's another topic of discussion because you go against a criminal organization as a child.
Please help me.
Basically all by yourself for some reason. Moving on from that. Then, you'll eventually make your way to Victory Road after getting all the gym badges, battle the Elite Four and the champion, then boom, you're pretty much done with the game. Of course, there's always trying to complete your Pokédex and post-game content afterwards too, that people generally enjoy. Yeah, we're just not going to talk about it some more. Anyways, I'm dumbing down things quite a bit in terms of the formula. For good reason, many people have argued that Gen 5 with Pokemon Black and White was the peak of Pokemon. It was the same formula, basically, sure, but it seemed like a step in the right direction with the game actually having complex characters like N and true evil villains like Darkness. And even the animations were just so smooth for a DS game as well that it seemed like everything was coming together here. Honestly, until the 3DS came along, I didn't hear many complaints about Pokemon. Which, maybe because I was exactly 11 when Pokemon Black and White came out. But still to this day, I hear nothing but positivity when it comes to older games of the franchise. While this can be arguable, the reasons why I'm bringing up all of this is not just so I can go on a nostalgia trip, because clearly I'm an overstressed college student that is desperately clawing at trying to create a game emoticon of what it was like to be a kid again, because things were so much simpler without worrying about builds and grades simultaneously. And
what? Get help. No. Come on, you love it. I hate it. It's great. It works every time. It's humiliating. Do you have a better plan? No. We're doing it.
Okay. Sorry about that. I had a bit of a moment there. Anywho, the reason why I am bringing all of this up though is because people actually love the Pokemon formula from what we can tell. Clearly, with how much Pokemon Scarlet and Violet has sold, which we'll come back to a little bit later, it's evident that people are buying Pokemon games because they like how they function at their core. If you think about it, it makes sense. Pokemon rides a lot on nostalgia, whether we want to admit it or not. I had a whole stream dedicated to showing off my past Pokemon from games and why I nicknamed them the way I did, and the adventures I had with them, so it's really no surprise that the Pokemon Company wants to capitalize on that factor. When I was in line for my pre-order for Scarlet and Violet, the majority of people there were adults, But also, to be fair, little Timmy probably had to go night-night since the midnight release was on a school night. Regardless though, I don't think it's exactly a fair argument to say that just kids are playing Pokemon still. You have whole generations playing Pokemon now, all the way back from 1998, a year before I was born by the way. So it's safe to assume many adults are interested in the franchise and have legitimate criticisms about how the game should operate. They may like the formula of things, but they certainly don't want things to stagnate either when they know the games can offer so much more than what they are already offering. So, I guess with all that being said, I guess we need an answer to... I'm gonna be real with y'all, we'd be here all day if I had to tell y'all why people were upset with Pokemon in general. Seriously, I have never been in a more polarized fandom before, in all honesty. I either see people praising Pokemon and exclaiming that, oh, nothing is wrong with it, and everything that comes out of these games is absolutely perfect, and then they'll buy every game that comes out, and that basically be me. But we also get people who absolutely dog on the franchise and say that Pokemon was only good its early days when Pokemon were actually creative.
What's this? Huh? What's this?
But I think it's fair that we address why Pokemon fans have had a sour taste in their mouth with the release of Scarlet and Violet. You will find no shortages of complaints on Twitter with how they feel about Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Overall, that's for dang sure. I think the bottom line is that everyone knows the games can be better. Yes, sure, we can keep saying that's the limitations of the hardware itself and that we need a newer Switch and yada yada yada, but that argument kind of falls short when we see how games like Breath of the Wild and Xenoblade Chronicles 3 plays out. I think we have to phase the music a bit here and recognize that Pokemon could be substantially better than its current state. Now, I do think people can be very nitpicky with some of their arguments about the game as they latch onto like certain glitches. Like seriously, that one glitch with the eye popping out, I've only seen that one character with it. I have not seen anybody else with it. If y'all have seen it, let me know in the comments down below. But like, I feel like people nitpick on certain glitches and then they'll say the whole game is broken because of something like that when they might have not even played the games themselves. I don't think that's necessarily fair to call an entire game broken if the glitch or bug itself is not game breaking, but I think it is fair to at least point out the fact that we do genuinely deserve more as Pokemon fans, especially for the price we're shelling out now for them.
Okay.
Oh boy. Yeah. We deserve high quality games if we're going to pay much higher prices. I feel like at this point, even the most hardcore Pokemon fan will admit that Scarlet and Violet has its own issues, especially massive frame rate issues, even if they are not game-breaking themselves. It just kind of takes you out of the whole immersion of an otherwise beautiful game, you know? What the why do the students look like that? Okay. Alright, that's a little weird. I can easily point out how much I love the new Pokemon textures and how they look overall, and I can admire all the new mechanics it throws out to me alongside all the new things to do within the game. But then I see little Johnny in the background walking at 5 frames per second, and then I just have to have a little laugh because it just, you know, it took me out of the Pokemon world I was enjoying. With the massive technical issues of frame rate, lighting effects changing on the fly, characters clipping into each other, people falling through the map, to even the frickin' sandwich animation. It does make sense why people aren't too thrilled with the performance of Pokemon. If they clean this up, of course, the game would be substantially better in a lot of people's eyes. Now, this is kind of subjective, of course, but quite a few people are noting that even the game itself feels bare bones with its visuals not being up to par with where it should be. Some people are arguing that they dislike the Pokemon designs a lot, but let's be for real here. That's kind of set in every generation, so I think we'll take that with a grain of salt. Many people, on the other hand, seem to be enjoying the characters, atmosphere, and overall environment of the game a lot more than Sword and Shield, though, it seems. This is why we almost always see this weird tug-of-war with Pokemon fans. You either see them criticizing the game to Kingdom Come or praising it beyond belief. Not saying anyone's opinions are wrong here. Everyone is valid in how they feel about the game and the franchise, and I'm not here to discredit that. but I can definitely see why it might leave some other Pokemon fans confused on whether they should buy the game or not because of all the mixed reactions. Honestly, if we were to sum this up, I think Bosco on Twitter did a nice summary of how people are feeling overall about this game. Alright, so what is the real reason for all this, right? Maybe we should actually be discussing that and why I believe the Pokemon games are in the state they are now. This is kind of a loaded question, I feel like, because I never like to be just like, "Grr, you're the reason why everything sucks, and we should totally mob against you." Grr, because I feel that is a bit of a disservice than actually answering the question. You'll probably hear me say this in quite a few of my future videos, but a multifaceted problem is going to have many factors that go into it. Though I can definitely tell you about the reasoning why Pokemon games are the way they are. Time and money. Go figure, right? I'm sure I blew everyone's minds with that logic there. But seriously, if we look at it, a lot of people are pointing their fingers towards Game Freak, and for some reason Nintendo, which I don't really think they're fully part of this equation, actually, in this case. But it seems like Game Freak is the one to take heat for the games in general. Now look, I'm not going to be the one defending the multi-billion dollar company outright, because they did develop the game after all. But I think if we look at their track record of just how many Pokemon games they're making, yeah, that's quite a lot of work to try and squeeze Legends Arceus and a mainline Pokemon game out from the company after barely just finishing the DLC for Sword and Shield in 2020. They're essentially making new Pokemon content every year. The new games obviously needed some more time to bake in the oven, but they weren't given that time, it seems. Okay, so now what do? Do we point the finger at the Pokemon Company now and say it's all their fault for rushing Game Freak to get the games out to fit their quota? Well, to a degree, sure. But I think people are forgetting an important factor here as well. Pokemon is one of Japan's highest grossing franchise of all time. When your game sells 10 million copies on launch, becomes the highest number ever for a worldwide launch of a Nintendo title within the first 3 days, be the highest selling game in Japan for a week once it comes out, I don't think it's far-fetched of an idea to state that Japan's economy is profiting off of Pokemon just a little bit here. According to Statista, the gaming app Pokemon Go generated a monthly revenue of more than $33 million in Japan in December 2021. The highest result during that year was recorded in August with more than $36 million. If you think about it, that's kind of insane, y'all, that a mobile game that's a spin-off of the mainline games was at one point making that much money a month in Japan alone. That's not even really it. According to Tidal Max, Pokemon was the highest grossing media franchise of all time worldwide when this was made in 2019. Honestly, it shouldn't be a surprise, but if we look at that graph a bit more closely, we see that merchandise is the biggest contributor to revenue overall, with games coming in at second place, it seems. So if we think about it, is it really a shock Pokemon games are the way they are when they aren't even the primary reason for the franchise's overall revenue? Simply put,
it's not personal. It's just business.
Even so, I'd wager Japan definitely has an interest in the Pokemon Company itself producing as many games as it possibly can get out there in a short period of time because, well, it's profitable. In this case, quantity triumphs over quality. And why is that? Well, because Pokemon knows it can sell a Pokemon game with a ton of bugs and glitches in it, and people would still enjoy it and buy it. The numbers don't lie, and they prove this. Even I am one of those I'm a buy every single Pokemon mainline game that comes out type of fan. So, that begs a new question.
Is it me? Am I the drama? I don't think I'm the drama. Maybe I am. Am I the villain? I don't think I'm the villain.
Not really, and I'd never really want to blame fans of a franchise for the quality of the things that they enjoy because they ultimately didn't develop it. It's kind of a cycle if you think about it. Game Freak makes Pokemon games due to demand, The Pokemon Company pressures Game Freak to make Pokemon games even faster to meet their quota. Japan profits off of Pokemon substantially, so they likely pressure the Pokemon Company to produce even more games to heighten Japan's economy. And then, of course, loyal Pokemon fans, which there are kind of a lot of, continually buy Pokemon games despite whatever issues they may have. So, in reality, as I mentioned before, there's a lot that goes into this whole situation. And there's a logical reason why Pokemon games are coming out the way they are now more than ever. And why they kind of feel sometimes half-baked. So, you may be wondering, alright, well that's all fine and dandy now, Jordan. But does that mean I can't enjoy another Pokemon game because I'm feeding into the system? That's really not for me to answer, I feel like. It's kind of a hard question if I'm being honest. Because, while yes, consumers do contribute to the state of Pokemon, we are not the sole reason. And to be fair, Pokemon games will always be bought in large numbers no matter what. If you want to take a personal protest in game, hey, be my guest. But I feel as though it's going to take a lot more than a few people boycotting the game. I absolutely still love Pokemon, and as I'll explain to y'all in a bit, I enjoy the games greatly to this day. So I can't simply tell y'all to do something when I'd be a hypocrite myself. So I guess with all that said, we should answer the question of, despite everything, you should enjoy what you want to enjoy. Let me just say this, y'all. Don't just take my word for it. Don't just take any other YouTube's word for it. And especially, don't just take IGN's word regarding if you should enjoy the game or not. I just kind of find it, on like a little side note here, I just find it funny how 1 minute they're trashing the game so hard, and then the next they're like, oh, never mind, here's how you can have fun with it, and here's the top 5 things you can do in Pokemon now. Woohoo! Look, no hate towards them, of course, I just think it's a little interesting. Anyways, if you really want to know if a game is worth it, I suggest doing a bit of research into it. Check multiple reviews, look at actual gameplay, and of course, always check your bacon count, because I think we can all agree that games are getting way too expensive nowadays, in general, to just be spending money willy-nilly on them. At the end of the day, I think the answer is simple. Yes, you can enjoy the game, or you don't have to either. I think you need to make that decision in all fairness. I personally really enjoy Scarlet and Violet, bugs and all, but of course I can't help that I feel I'm also feeding into the system of not potentially getting a higher quality Pokemon game like we deserve. Pokemon will always be popular though, so I don't think much is going to change anytime soon. So I think it's a fair statement to say you should enjoy the games you want to and not worry what others think about it. I love spending time with my friends and audience with the game, and we all are certainly creating memories with each other. Even my viewers seem to agree that they generally love this game. Some of them, of course, have criticisms, and, well, others just kind of wanted to be in the video. That's fine, too. Despite it all, you should feel the same way and judge the game for yourself with a bit of research. Pokemon can create wonderful memories, and if you feel the need to relive a bit of your childhood or recreate new memories, then I think you should go ahead and get it and explore the new world of Paldea in all of its glitchy glory. Yeah, so I don't fully know how this video is going to turn out. Listen, y'all, I've never wrote a script this long, and as you can kind of see here, it's almost 5 pages long. So please bear with me, and I hope you enjoyed the video. I've been waiting to make something like this for so long, but with college, I really just didn't have the time, and probably won't have the time to make another video like this for a while. But look forward to videos like this in the future when I finally get more free time once college ends. So that's about all I have for y'all for now. So I hope y'all are all having a great day, great night, whenever you are watching, and we'll see all of y'all in the next video or stream. Bye guys, thank you so much for watching, and peace out.